Alright guys, welcome back to another long-awaited layout update. I'm sorry, but this has been a little bit longer than the last one. Sorry, a little bit longer waited for, and that's because I've been getting stuff ready for school and doing a lot of work around the house and such to get ready to get a big new purchase. In the coming months, and hopefully next month actually, I will be getting the new BNSF ES44 AC from Athearn. I've pre-ordered it, got the sound unit coming in, and I'm really excited about that. But that is in the near future, but let's focus on now. So, first off, the big news is right here in front of you is my brand new CN SD40-2W from Intermountain. And as you guys know, it is a really good locomotive. And Intermountain kind of specialed out on these and did a really good job on them. Except, like all Intermountains, the ditch lights suck. And this is a second run, so some of the issues have been addressed, like the weight, and it does have a lot more pulling power. I did see a review, and the weight from this one to the one he reviewed is significantly more. And if I can remember, we'll go over to the scale and take a look at it in a minute. Moving on to the Athearn, not Athearn for once. This is a Atlas Trainman CN aluminum coal car, and this was pretty cheap, so I picked it up. Runs good, and I just got to replace the couplers I have in there, and yeah, those need to be addressed. I don't know why Atlas still does it many years later. They suck. Oh well. I'll live with it. I can just replace them with KDs like I always do. Anyway, so this is my new Rapido Bardman Lake buffet parlor car. Sorry, had to remember what that was called. It's got an insane level of detail. It is really up there with Athearn Genesis stuff. The only thing that really separates the Athearn Genesis stuff from this is really just rotating bearing caps. But yeah, it has the interior lighting. I got that installed, and hopefully I can get a lot more of these cars. And a little bonus to this is they came equipped with KD number 5s. Well, sorry, the correct KD number, whatever they are, to the cars. And when the two cars are connected, I do believe the diaphragms actually move and press against each other, so that's pretty cool. And they do in fact come with spare KDs for when, in case you're wanting to run the cars on a tighter 18-inch radius curve, which I do have here on the inner curve, but I won't be running the passenger cars on this, it'll just be on the outer loop. Anyway, moving on to another new car I've got, we'll go back here, and is this Athearn Genesis trailer train car, and it's got the rotating bearing caps and everything. Once again, a crazy level of detail, but it's kind of what you can expect from Athearn Genesis. And of course it does have the rotating bearing caps as well as a lot of the underframe detail. And yeah, it's a really good car. I removed the center hitch for a recessed one, and it does actually look pretty good, and I've actually lowered that so I can put onto 45 foot length trailers. Moving on to some other new stuff I've gotten. I don't think I showed this in the previous layout update, but this is my Central Vermont CN boxcar from Trueline, and this is my new CN 50-foot boxcar from Atlas from the Trainman series. Both really good cars, and I got this particular boxcar the same day I got the coal car, so they don't have KDs or anything like that. Got to get some of those soon. Let me think, what else? Finally got the KCS's directional lighting problem sorted out, as well as the decoders. Now it runs really good, and it's nice and quiet, and it's really surprising for an Athearn blue box locomotive. Some other things I got. I finally got a decoder for the BC Rail-9, finally. I got this like 4 months ago, and it's just starting to run now. But yeah, that's got a regular Digitrax DH123AT decoder in there, or just a DH12 AT, I can't quite remember. It's just the 9-pin, it doesn't need any upgrades or anything like that. Um, Moving on, this is the other BC Rail-9 cab I'm working on. Needs to be restripped of it because it didn't turn out good. But that's not a problem. Not in any rush to complete it. And I've actually got a drill template from BLMA, as well as drilled out the holes for the the headlights and the side lights. I thought these were going to be red, but they're not. They're actually just white, so not a problem there. Other projects that I've been working on, the KCS AC4400 and the Santa Fe -9 are currently waiting to get decoders. More so the -9 rather than the KCS. The KCS just needs a decoder, whereas the Santa Fe needs the entire harness because it is a blue box, and I've just currently dismounted the motor and put the electrical tape where the original ground was. I haven't really done anything with the F unit, but I know what I'm going to do with it now. It's going to be painted up in the Grand Trunk scheme for a friend. And this is the CP SW1200 is getting I got the decals for it, I just got to not be lazy and do it. And that will be up and running soon. It's just going to be a dummy running behind the MP15 AC I have in CP. And via rail, currently the decals were complete crap, so I stripped them off, and I'm going to be repainting the gray part on there as well as the yellow stripes. That's going to be completely on there on their own, no decals. And hopefully that'll be turned out good. I did have the winterization hatch in the wrong spot over the dynamic brake, but as you can see it's right here, so yeah, I did remove it, and I put in a Canon Company radiator set in there, so now it's going to be transparent, see-through, and that'll look good once it's done. And also I got a Burlington Northern, I got a Kato motor for this Burlington Northern SD40-2, and I still got to get a decoder for this, and that won't be long before I get that, and then that will be running, and hopefully I can get a marker light in there on the top of the nose, on the top of the cab. But anyway, the biggest project I've been working on is this CP GP40-2, and as you can see it's in quite a damaged state. I had a bit of an accident with it, and now I'm in the process of completely overhauling it. Sorry for the shakiness. A lot of the rear radiators and such have been damaged, and the one that's covered up by the winterization hatch is in fact not prototypical, but it's just covering up damage, and I was able to take that fan and put it onto the via rail. So I tried doing some primer on it, turned out good, and we'll go over here and you'll see a little bit more extent of the damage and work I'm trying to do to fix it. The radiator right there is in fact pretty damaged, so I got to cut that out and put in a see-through one, as well as the side hatch right in front, right below it. And also above the cab, as you can see, this and a few other spots along here, that isn't from my finger, that is actually from the paint stripper it was put into, which was too strong for it, and it wasn't me that did it, 'cause I've done previous repaints before and I know what I'm doing. Anyway, some other things I've been doing to it. I drilled out the holes for the ditch lights, and I was going to be using the lights that actually came with it, but they're incandescent, so I'm completely tossing that idea. I'm going to put on LEDs in there, and as well as I'll be drilling out those holes for the headlight. And as well as a few other things I got to get for it, as a few eye bolts to go on the roof, and obviously the rear radiators. These ones are in fact fine, but the ones on the other side weren't, and yeah, it still needs a fair bit of work. But it's coming along really nicely. I still got to put the safety tread up along here, but I will be doing that as soon as I finish repairing this. Also, I do have some more additional parts for it. I do have see-through steps for it, and I did test fit one to go on the back here. As you can see, it's cut out there, and I do have one that's going to fit in there. And that'll look really cool once it's done. And this was basically from an original Athlon Blue Box. And we'll go over there and take a look at the frame and some of the other parts yet that I still have yet to put on. Yeah, here's the safety tread and see-through steps. As you can see, I cut out the one here. And it's got a few more parts to be put on there, and it will be good to go. On that part, anyway. Also, see if this will focus. Got the Details West ditch light for EMD. If it'll focus. Yeah, I got 2 of those, and they're painted up almost and ready to go. Yeah, I have a decoder for this. I could toss in the KCS, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna keep it for this. Also, this is the BLMA drill template I got. Took 6 months to get. And of course, here is the frame and wiring harnesses. It's a bit of a mess at the moment. And no, that drill bit isn't soldered on there. It's just because the motor's magnetic. But yeah, that's almost ready to go. It runs, it functions. And this was originally the D8123AT decoder, but I cut off all the clips and everything just so everything sits in there nicely and nothing's brushing up against the flywheel. I got a bit of cleaning to do up on the motor itself, but that'll be done soon. And within the next few months, probably when I get the next layout update out to you guys, that will be all done. And yeah, that'll look good once it's done. Other projects I've worked on. Got this Santa Fe GP50, as I've now found out, because Athlon is doing these in the Genesis line. I'm not sure if I'm going to get one. I probably will. But yeah, this was an original blue box, and I took off the trucks, I painted them silver and make it more like the locomotive, and I'm probably going to get a lot more roof detail for it. Going to cut out these radiators and put in see-through ones, and I'm probably going to leave the side hatches and everything alone, because that is actually a lot of work, considering I don't want to really do anything to the paint on this locomotive. It does need a horn and a few other parts, but other than that, it's pretty good. One thing I will look at doing eventually is, I'll see if I can put this down here without shorting out the layout. Sorry for how close up it is. Yeah, I probably will look at getting a new anti-climber on the front, because that one is in fact in rough shape. That's how it came, but it was like $30, so I can't go wrong there. A lot of my locomotives are pretty cheap and they run good for me. I have no problems with them. And yeah, this locomotive runs good. I use it for a lot of yard jobs, so some things this thing's going to get in the near future is directional lighting. I don't know if these things ever had ditch lights. Probably didn't, otherwise Athlon probably would have put them on there, but they didn't on previous models, so we'll see. And anyway, let's move on to scenery. So, first off, this was the main area I finished up to, which was right here. You can see because there's a bit of a white line. But since past that, I've completely done this area, and it looks really good. And I've done on the inside just up to there. I still got to mud and everything back up to the road. And unfortunately, I did run out of ballast, so I wasn't able to really complete this section fully. And there was another section back there, which we'll go take a look at, that I wasn't able to do. Also, one other thing I found, that when I was gluing down the ballast for the yard, which is all completely done, is that when the glue gun on the road, it did look pretty bad. So I've stripped off the paper layer that was on top, and it got me to this. And it does need one other coat of paint, and this doesn't peel up, so that's nice. I'll just gotta remember to wipe it off while I'm gluing down the grass, and I haven't quite done that in this area yet. So, moving on to the scenery I've done back here. I'm sorry the train is in the way, I was just running them around, and I'll get to some of the track work in a minute. So yeah, originally the scenery from before ended about here. I had just that one little area I did the reviews in that was just behind the signal. But since then, I've run the tape, the drywall tape and everything over, and it looks really good, and I'll get to how I did that. And currently where this brown area is, that is going to be a rock cut. As well as I've done all the grass and half the ballast on this side. I just push these out of the way and I'll show you this. Hopefully nothing derails while I do this. So yeah, I've done the ballast in here. It looks really good. A lot better than what it used to turn out on my N scale. And I still got a few patches to make, obviously. But for the most part, it's good. And coming down here, I ran out. And that little bit where that car is where I just had enough to do layout updates. So, other than that, I have done this area, and this is completely solid, and that is going to be where the coal plant is, and that's my final decision. Now all I have to do is really make it the rest of this area clean, level it with this, and I'll have the coal plant on there, and I do have some neat tricks I'm going to try for the coal plant on this side. So, how I do the scenery is quite simple, and it's a lot cheaper than getting the Woodland Scenic Sculptamold. And that is by taping off the track, and I got this drywall fiberglass tape, and I just I put it on this side, stapled it or nailed it, ran it down, and then stapled it again, and I did that the whole way across. And that's how I've done the entire area, and then I mud it so it looks like this. And once it's all dried and I'm ready to paint, I go ahead and cut off, I'll take a knife and just run it down here to the end here, and then I'll cut it off. And then vice versa on the opposite side of the tracks. And then I go ahead and paint it, put grass on it, and it looks pretty good. And that's basically how I've done for every hill around the layout. So, that is pretty much it for this layout update, guys. Once again, I'm sorry for the shakiness and for the fact it took me so long to get this out to you guys, but I have been very busy, and as you can see, I've gotten a lot done. I'll just give you one overview of the layout. And stay tuned for the next couple of weeks for when the Athearn Genesis Gevos ship to stores, and I will be getting mine. Sorry. Excuse me. So yeah, look out for that, and that will be the main thing for the next layout update, guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and stay tuned for more. Alright, peace out.